Ho, ho, ho. Hello and late wow, it's been so long I streamed after Christmas. That joke doesn't work. Oh, no. Oh, it's going to be one of these streams. Okay. Let me just send out a few things here. Again, normally I would do this off stream, but hey, that's life for ya. We had a problem yesterday with our debugger because, boy, oh boy, this didn't work. So we had to restart the computer, which ended the stream early yesterday. So we're gonna fix a few things here. Can we stop? First of all, this is broken somewhere. And it's because this file, this is wrong. Something is wrong here. This is wrong. But we definitely don't debug it. Code Toil, hello, hello. Let me just turn on some music and we'll get Jim Jam and Ramen here. Hi, welcome. Welcome to the post restart stream. What music am I playing today? Oh, bibbity bobbity booba. I wish I could play Hololive music. I know we're making a rhythm game, but man, they like their copyright sometimes. Where's my sessions? Hello, sessions. We did Star Guardian yesterday, right? Let's do Vi. Let's do some V. Made it sound like I was doing a drug. Let's do some V. All right, so we're gonna minimize that, move it over here. Oops, minimize that, move it over here. Then we're gonna have chat here, and then we're gonna minimize that and move it over here. Like there, well, like there. And then we're gonna put chat over here. And then we're gonna grab this and we're gonna move it over here. And then we're gonna zoom in. Oh my goodness. Look at that stream quality, baby. We still streaming on ultra wide, right? Yeah. Welcome to the I'm back stream. All right. So this needs fixed. If you guys don't know what happened yesterday, we had to end stream early because we divided by target frame rate, but target frame rate was 60 or supposed to be, and we accidentally grabbed it as the last integer, which is 0. So whatever, we'll just do standard strings again. And we will read it as and standard or? Is it and or? It must be or, right? Standard get line. And we're going from ISS. We're going from ISS to line, right? We're just taking the whole line. We don't care about what's the rest here, right? Or is it position? Yeah, no, it must be this. And then we just get rid of that. No, this is value. I'm sorry. This is value, and then it goes on for the rest of the line. But something's wrong here. What am I doing wrong? Second parentheses, that's what I'm missing. So this is incorrect because I'm starting from the right after the equal sign. So I'm streaming until what? Space? New line? Get line, what do you need? Standard CN name. You need to buffer out the thing in between. The get line function. Hold on, C++ file system reading config. Am I missing something here? Bing! The fuck? Listen, this Google AI shit is pretty bad at programming, but when it comes to basic stuff, you know what? It ain't that bad. What am I missing here? Get line string and get line value. Wait, I did this. Is it and? Is that what the problem is? Oh, it's an integer. Oh, my bad. I see what the problem. We did do it right. Okay. That's fine. We did do it right. The problem was we kept value as integer, which threw me off because it was saying that it didn't work, and I thought it would. So now this is gonna come up as an error because these are const integers, which is obviously not right. It should be standard. Is it iOS? What is the string to integer? Stowy? Not that. I think it's Stowy, and then we just do this. Yeah, string, yeah, okay. Do the same thing here. Do the same thing here. Now, if I run the game, it should just work. Okay. I know for you guys just saw like a huge black screen. For now, let's turn off full screen. That seems a little bit excessive. Let's turn on SDL window. Well, here, let's just Control Z this. Okay, let's just comment that out. SDL window borderless. Let's just do that for now. There. Oh wait, no, that's not right. Why isn't this working? Hold on, let me just okay, do all that. Copy. Standard C out those. Config resolution. Not this. I just want to print them. (1920 by 1080). This is not 1920 by 1080. Right? It's trapping my mouse correctly. I'm going to the right here. It's actually blocking me, which is good. That's what I want. But this is not 19. Wait, why is it backwards? It's sideways. No, that's not right. This is, it says 1920 by 1080. What's wrong? Okay, this is the screen resolution that we render. That's unrelated to our screen resolution though. Because we set our render set logical size to this. 18, no, it's width first, height second, so 18. Oh shit, why is it backwards? Set render logical size. Wait, is it go height and width? No, it's width and height. What did I set it as? Width, height. Did I? Fuck. Hold on. Firefox, can I restore window? Okay, well, I guess I can. Okay, well, we kind of got music back up. Okay. 1920 by 1080. So wait, I want to see the config file. Maybe the config file, I did it height first and I was just dumb and I wasn't paying attention. No, that doesn't make sense. Unless I typed the actual thing wrong, because the map should be independent of where I put it on. It doesn't matter where I put it on, what order. So I guess the config file. Yeah, look, width 1920, height 1080. It should print 1920 by 1080. 1920 by 1080. Wait, no, I'm right. Yeah, no, that's right. Try reversing it anyway? Well, I don't want to do that. Here's the thing. The render logical size Render set logical size. Basically, I'm decoupling the window that is created for the project, which is here, and this. So maybe we just copy paste this. This seems like it's not going to work very well at all. Which should go here. Oh, config isn't even defined yet when we make this, though. Well, let's just try that. Let's just go 1920 by 1080. Let's just do that. What the fuck? I am so confused. So wait, if I go the full way, let's go my full monitor size, 2560 by 1080. My guess is here's what's gonna happen. There's gonna be black bars on the sides and purple in the middle where we actually render the game logic. Fuck! Why? Why does that take up the whole screen? Okay, so this initializes the renderer. But then we set the render logical size. So what does this even do? Set a device independent resolution for rendering. I grab the renderer, which is this renderer. Yeah, local renderer. So that is the thing. And then we define its width and height based on the resolution of the config file. So this is correct. So what does it actually do? This function uses the viewport and scaling functionality to allow a fixed logical resolution for rendering, regardless of the actual output resolution. If the actual output resolution does not have the same aspect ratio, the output rendering will be centered within the output display. If the actual output resolution does not have the same aspect ratio, the output rendering will be centered in the output display. If the output display is a window, mouse and touch events in the window will be filtered and scaled so they arrive within the logical resolution. Yeah, okay. If this function results in scaling or sub-pixel drawing by the rendering backend, it will be handled using the appropriate quality hints. Get render logical size. Okay, that's set. This is get. Int to be filled with the width, int to be filled with the height. When using the main rendering target, e.g. no target texture is set, this may return 0 for width and height if the renderer has never had its logical size set. Okay. So here's what I'm thinking is going on based on what we're reading. What I'm guessing did I send that? What I'm guessing is that the width and the height, when we create our window, is here. This is our screen resolution like file for creating the window and the renderer, and then we read the config file. But this doesn't matter. This is just, well, here, we'll control Z this. It is not based on hard numbers. It's based on the display mode. So before you even read the config file, what this does is set what the box is going to be on your screen in what shape, right? In this case, it's the height of your screen and the height of your screen times 16 divided by 9. So 1920, 1080. It's 1080 resolution, right? That's the box. That is the actual physical size of the thing on your screen. It'll be of that, aspect ratio. That's what I should say. It's going to be that aspect ratio regardless of if it's 1080p or not. That is irrelevant. It's the height of your screen and then whatever the aspect ratio it is to make 1080p, right? So that's where this logic comes from. And then we create the window and the renderer based on that. And then we set the render logical size to the configuration of how many W pixels, how many H pixels, right? So it's 1920 by 1080 explicitly right now. That's what it should be. But when we render it, it prints 1920 by 1080. You know what? Here, let's do this. Let's print this. I want to see what values it gets. So this should print, oops. So this should print. Here, no, we'll even add spaces. Why not? We'll go extra try hard. So what it should happen here is that it will print the height of my screen, which is 1080p, times the height of the, whatever, it's 1920 by 1080. That's what I'm planning it for it to be here. And it will be 1080 by 1080. Why? So it's a perfect square right now. It doesn't look like a perfect square on my screen personally, but so why is that the case? What a weird. So this is ringing up as 1080. So this number here. Did I forget a parentheses? Why is this holding up 1080? So this number here, dm.h, this is 1080. I take 1080 and I go 16 divided by 9. Because if I did this, dm.width, and then I print dm.width, I know what's gonna happen. Yeah, it's gonna be my whole screen because 2560 by 1080. So this, the top line, is the resolution of my monitor, 2560 by 1080. It's a super ultra wide. And then 1920 by 1080 is our game's logic size. So it will go the whole distance if it has to make that 920p. So it's 16 divided by 9 equals 1. Oh, you're so big brained. Thank you. Oh my God, you're so smart. This is a float value. So now it should work. Fuck. Wait, I did that wrong? How do I make this a float value? Do I have to actually go? Oh, 16.0. Or double or whatever you want to call it. Jesus. Explicit types, I tell you. This is why you don't use magic numbers, kids. Oh! Okay. Now we're talking. This looks right. Okay, Jesus Christ. Oh my God. All right, so now I'm gonna fuck with you for a second. You know what? Actually, let's do this. Make it easier to, because we're gonna switch between full screen and not a lot. Okay, now we're gonna go full screen. I wanna see how much this changes. Okay, here's what I think is going on, because we know this is 1920 by 1080 now, but it's stretching the whole screen. I don't even know what you can see on stream because I don't have access. I guess I can look it up on my phone. I want to see what this looks like on stream. I'm actually kind of curious. Gary the Goo Boy. Okay, what does this look like? Oh my God, a commercial? Gary. Gary. Dude, come on. How long is this commercial? Oh my God, there's another one. Dude, you guys get 2 ads? Hi, Code Toil. Why do you guys tolerate this channel? Dude, I should turn off affiliate links. I should turn off affiliation. I should just go commercial. Dude, it's still going. Dude, there we go. Jesus. Okay. So you guys don't see everything. There's actually a cutoff on the right. Okay. Interesting. So what I see on my end, I guess I could just show you. I don't want to move the camera. What I see is a purple box that fills up the entire resolution of the screen. But you guys actually see its true resolution, which is not this, but this. Okay. Okay, that's fine. I mean, we can just make the game in borderless full screen. It's not like it makes a difference. I was just curious. Okay, so comment that out. Twitch is just shitty like that? Yeah. Okay, so this is the resolution of the game. Our logic is 1920 by 1080. Now, here's the thing. This is important to remember, okay? Right now, it's the same, 1920 by 1080. You can see on the top left there in that black box. Here's the thing. On a different monitor, the top two numbers would be different. If you have a 4K monitor, it's going to have the same aspect ratio as 1920 by 1080, but the height of the screen is what it's based on. So if you go, I don't know, what is like a 4K? I've never had a 4K monitor. What is like the Y resolution of that? Is it like it'd be 1450 or something, right? Whatever it is, it would start there and then you would get the aspect ratio of 1080p. And it's beautiful. If you have a 4K monitor, it would be the entire, oh, I guess if it's a 4K monitor, it'd be the entire monitor. Okay, whatever. In any case, that's the aspect ratio. The bottom number, however, that's the important one, because the bottom sets of numbers, 1920 by 1080, is how we are actually building the game logic. When we say go right 20 pixels, it's in 1920 by 1080 land, and on your monitor, it would not go right 20 pixels, it would go right relative to 1920 in terms of 20 pixels. So for me, it'd be 20 pixels. If you're on a 4K monitor, it might be like 40 pixels, but the distance is the same, if that makes sense. So that's why we have a separate 2160, Jesus. But that's why we have a separate like thing. That's what our goal was, which is good. So, fantastic. There you go. Okay, sweet. So the renderer is different. The window is the same. That's what our goal was, which we accomplished, which is great. Okay, so what's next? What's next is we're done with the config file for a while. I think we're actually just ready to start making entities, because I'm gonna be honest, getting a little sick of initialization, okay? Getting a little bit like, all right, I'm done. I don't want to do config files anymore yet. We're gonna have to do a lot of them when we make levels, but that's not true. We're gonna have a level editor. That's not outside of the realm of my skill set. So we have a level editor where the level editor will handle the config file for whatever level is getting loaded. But that's for later. We have to, oh God, we gotta use a different library. We can use SDL2 for audio, but if we're gonna do that, I would rather just use SDL3, and this is not an SDL3 project, so we're probably gonna have to download another library, which is fine. There's some great open source audio libraries out there. The hard part though is video. That's gonna be the hard one. Video is gonna be, video is going to be a little hard. We don't need audio from the video, keep in mind. We're just going to need the video. So assuming we have an MP4 file, which we don't have to have MP4, but I would imagine it's going to be that. That seems like it would be the easiest to work with, just from its ubiquitous nature. If we do that, isn't there like a library called mpreg or something like that? Which like, or FFmpeg or something. I think we just use that. Which means we need two other libraries, which sounds not fun. Sounds not fun, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. That's like the last stage though. Like, believe it or not, the actual audio and the video in a rhythm game is like the last thing you work on, okay? Like you make the rest of the game first and then it just gets settled. All right, let's do some shit. Let's actually make some entities. So, project, add module. Do I want to make the entity manager in the component? I mean, it would make things easier because I'm just importing all of the component stuff into the entity thing anyway. Well, let's think about this. Is the component module ever going to get imported anywhere but the entity module? I don't think it is. I think we just make it one module called entities and components. Because what's the point of having a separate module for components if it only ever goes to one other module and that module is entities, which is only ever going to go to one module. No, it actually is going to go to the systems too, but that's separate. Okay. I think we're not going to do this. I think we're just going to rename this. Save components. Wait, how do I rename a tab? Have I ever renamed a tab before? Oh, there we go. We'll call this entities and comps. Beautiful. Now we do have to be careful because now we renamed things. So entities and comps. That is what we are exporting the module as. And when we go to game loop, we're going to import entity and comps. Save, save. Everything loads. Everything's beautiful. Actually, real quick, I'm just going to print oh, I can't really keep track of this, huh? I want to keep track of end time minus start time. Would I do that after? I probably do it after the wait, right? I just want to make sure we're actually at 17 milliseconds at the end of the frame. I want to see what that prints. What's wrong? Conversion from double to int, possible loss of data. See out undeclared modifier. Oh. Hold on, we're not gonna... Chat! I'm gonna have a project with no fucking warnings. Okay, hold on. Conversion from double to int requires narrowing conversion. Can I just make this a double? And then initializing double to int, possible loss of data. Okay, let's try this. I don't know what it's printing. Oh no, yes I do. It's in nanoseconds. Why is it printing in nanoseconds? Okay. How many nanoseconds are in a millisecond? 1,000, right? Fuck. Divided by 1,000. There we go. 1,747. 309. Something's wrong here. I can just trust. Wait, actually, I can just check because... Yeah, that is about 60 frames a second, I think. Is that 60 frames a second? That feels like 60 frames a second. That feels right. Now, if I were to test this by going to the config file, I know there's an easier way to keep track of FPS. Shut up. HoloRhythm, config file, 120. Let's try that. There we go, 120 frames a second. Beautiful. Oh, you know what I'm actually surprised about? I'm actually surprised on the variation in wait times for the thread to sleep. Isn't that weird? I mean, that's not weird. I didn't realize it was so sensitive. Huh. How's that taxing my CPU? Not at all. Beautiful. All right. Okay. We'll stay with 120 FPS. That's our goal after all. All right, so what's next? Get rid of that. You know what we're gonna do? Using chrono milliseconds, we'll just call this MS. It's just there's a lot of really dumb stuff here, so we'll go MS, MS. Chrono steady clock now. Okay, let's minimize that. Using steady clock now is going to be now. Oh, that's so much cleaner. What was that? Herbie Lizard is rating with 4. Oh my goodness. And you're doing it right in the middle of my ugly ass experiment. MS was unexpected here. God, I forget how to do fucking using macros in C++. I use them so rarely. Fuck! Whatever, Control-Z solves all problems. Hello! Hi, people! Welcome! Welcome to the, we are doing some weird shit in C++ today. Okay, so if you guys don't know, this is our current project so far. Oh, I know, right? Impressive, okay? I'd be jealous too. So what we are doing is we are making a rhythm game in C++ with our own game engine. Right now, you guys caught me on literally basically day one. We initialized the whole thing. We set up our basic config file. Oh my goodness, so much to get excited about. If you guys don't know modern C++, get ready for some weird looking functions. Hi there, welcome Herbie Lizard. Thank you for the raid, I appreciate it. Oh, so many new people here. I also should have a second monitor. I just moved because we have our movie set, Jesus. We have the set here. So everything's in chaos. My monitor is over there, so just bear with me here. Wait, so you mean the stream category has nothing to do with the coding? What? What do you mean nothing to do? Why am I streaming League of Legends? What? No. I told it explicitly that I was doing. Hold on. Game development. There, geez. Freaking Twitch. Man, I tell ya. Hi, welcome to the game development stream, not the not the League of Legends stream. Sorry. Hi, Herbie Lizard. Your name sounds amazing. Wait, are you a VTuber? I say that because I'm a VTuber. This is just my not VTubing time because I just moved. Wait, you are. Oh, that's so cute. Oh my God, I love your model. I'm Gary the Goo Boy, by the way. I'm not actually sure if you even know what I look like. Do I have a picture of me somewhere? I have an artist rendition. No, hold on. God damn it. Somebody must post something in fan art, right? Okay, there's me on the left. You can kind of see my vibe here. Okay, hold on. I have me somewhere. There's my goob. There I am. That's me. Okay, that's what you would normally see in this moment. I'm a wonderful little goo boy. Oh my God, that dragon fan art was so cool. Man, I'm going down memory lane here. Hold on. There we go. There I am playing Path of Exile in my little wings. Yeah, we have a whole setup. We're good. Just, you know, at the moment. What the fuck? Just, you know, at the moment, I'm a little not VTuber, but that's fine. We're gonna program today. That's fun. All right? We're having fun. Goo Dragon, I'm Dragon. Ah, cute. Love it. League of Legends and coding are very similar. Wait, I don't see your chat. What? I know, I watched you for a while. A lot of PoE. Wait, you did? Oh my goodness, thank you. I appreciate it. What's our current setup? Oh, we're about to set up an entity factory. Oh my goodness. Who doesn't love hearing about entity factories? Jeez. You guys know anything about... Hold on. This guy's a PoE fan. Does that mean you're a programming fan? So you're a GooTuber? Hell yeah, I am. I almost never stream IRL. I usually do a VTubing setup because I'm very self-conscious about me. So I usually just don't even worry about it. Like right now is a bad hair day and I'm constantly avoiding looking at myself to fix my hair. So I'm just accepted that it's just going to be a bad hair day. Yippee entity factories. What are entity factories? Okay. Let me talk you through something, chat. let me tell you a little bit about video game programming. Okay, when you make a video game, we're really going basic here. When you make a video game, here's something that the industry used to do. This would be your, how do I say this? This would be your XY value. It would be your position, right? We'll call it POS. This is your position value, and it contains an X and a Y coordinate because you're in 2D space, right? Every object in your game that needs this position value will inherit that box. So, you know, you have your hero over here, and then you have your enemy over here. This is your enemies, and then from your enemies box, you inherit, like, you know, like goblin. I'm running out of space here. Like the goblin would inherit this, and like, you know, the bird would inherit this. All right, and then you have another box over here for like the environment. And then you have another box for like that inherits from that called a tree. And you go down these inheritance chains. Now, normally it's all well and good. There's no problem with this. You can make a whole ass video game because a lot of people have many, many times. There is a price to pay though with this kind of setup of inheritance and object-oriented programming. What happens if in the development of your game, you want to make a bird tree? For whatever reason, you want to make a bird tree. You want to make or maybe like a tree that behaves like a bird, or like a bird that's on the ground like a tree. But in any case, you want to inherit from both of these things that are branched off from this original thing. It's called the diamond problem, or at least it's phrased as like the diamond problem. The diamond catastrophe is more like it. Basically, because you're re-inheriting from two different objects, it greatly complicates the game in a way that's not fun to maintain. It's a lot of tech debt, as it's called, right? So if you're playing an RPG and you want a sword and you have fire magic in the game, and then you decide as a developer, oh, I want the players to have a flaming sword. Well, what do you inherit from? The fire spell or the sword? And do you recreate the code? Like, do you duplicate code to make it fiery? Or do you inherit from other things as well? And you end up with this like trees and trees and trees, a forest of inheritance. This is considered not good for a variety of reasons. It's considered not good. So there's a solution that the video game industry came up with, and it's pretty ingenious. It's called ECS. Gary, what does this have to do with an entity factory? Hear me out. All right, we're getting there. You have your position XY value, and then you have like your input value, and then you have your box for like, what's like an example? Like a render box or something. Okay, these are called components, right? Every one of these has a little C on there. It's called a component. Basically, what are components? Components are very, very basic, like this position value. This is our equivalent XY. Has a position F point, meaning a floating point value, so it can be a decimal. Then you have your set XY value, set X value, and you have your return value. So any thing, object, entity, we're going to talk about in a moment, any entity that has this position box, I can just use it as if it has a position, right? It has the XY value. But instead of directly inheriting into this, we're not going to do inheritance at all. What we're going to do is we're going to have entity. Basically, everything in the game, from the UI to the audio to the video file we're going to play in the background for HoloRhythm, to the notes that you see on the screen, to the score we keep, to the credit screen, everything is going to be an entity. Anything that the player ever interacts with in any way is an entity. That's kind of cool, because what it means is that at any point, if we want to give something an XY value, we just give it the XY value. So like our notes are going to have an XY value. So this will be like our little note section here. And then we have like our audio file, and then we have, oh, maybe that's not a good example, like the UI, and then we have like the score or something. Well, the UI needs an XY value, and the score needs an XY value, so they all have XY values. There's no inheritance going on. Now we have a render box. Well, the notes need a render box. The UI needs a render box. The score also needs a render box. And then we have input. So what can read input? Well, the notes need to read input. The UI needs to read input, but the score doesn't. You never really have to click the score unless you want to. So now we have a situation where any entity in the entire game can grab any component in the game. So this is really cool, because what it enables us to do is, what if during development, I decide as a developer, oh, you know what? I do want the score to be interacted with. If you click the score during the game, that's how you pause the game for whatever reason. If we actually decide to do that, it's a terrible idea. But if we ever want the score to be interacted with, all we have to do is like, okay, well, we'll just give the score the input component. So now it reads input. That's it. It's that easy. These are entities. These are components. Entities by themselves do absolutely nothing. They are just a glorified container. Components do stuff, but you can't interact with them directly. They are meant to be attached to entities. So when I say a entity factory, quote unquote, what I mean is I want something where I can create an entity and that entity manager does all of the work, right? It puts it on a vector to be set up for systems later, but systems are more complicated. We're not going to get to that today. It's going to delete the entity. If I set the entity to die, like a note comes on the screen and you click it correctly and then it gives you the points, I don't want that entity to exist in memory anymore. So it will die, quote unquote. So at the end of the frame, the entity manager will clean everything up on its own. I don't need to call like a function to delete the note. The entity manager knows, oh, this note did its job, or it's set to die, this entity, whatever it is, the UI, kill it. Just destroy it from memory. Don't even keep it. That's really powerful. Or not powerful, but it's convenient because you don't have to like manually do everything. So, what was I going with this? It's amazing. There's no inheritance problem anymore. You can make any entity do anything. Have you guys ever seen the fighting game Marvel vs. Capcom 3? There's a special in that game that Deadpool uses, and it's a level 3 special. In Marvel vs. Capcom 3, when Deadpool does his special, he grabs the life bar and hits you over the head with it, because it's Deadpool and he does like fourth wall breaking stuff, right? In that game, imagine how difficult it is if you did object inheritance to grab the life bar as the character and swing it against your opponent. Well, it's pretty hard because the life bar is a set value in the corner of the screen, and that shit doesn't move if you do object inheritance, okay? The life bar will stay there. It may be able to change the XY value, maybe, but it's not gonna like swing in 3D space or anything unless you do an ECS system like this, entity and components. Because all you have to do is like, okay, the health bar is an entity, and I want to be able to swing it in 3D space. So we're gonna give it this component, this component, this component, and then we can use it for animation now. It's beautiful. It's wonderful, okay? Genuinely good teaching right now. Thank you. I have seen it, but did not play much. Oh yeah, it's great. I love that game. But this is what I mean by entity factory. It's gonna take care of all of our entities for us. Now, it's an ECS engine, entity component systems. Just to give you a rundown on systems, because we're not gonna have time to do it today, because that is a whole can of worms I can't even begin to describe, we'll have to open later. But the idea is that every frame, at the end of the frame, or close to it before we render things, what we're gonna do is we're gonna have systems iterate through all of the containers that contain entities, and it will do the magic of adjusting the components. So if a object has the moving component and a position component, a system will say, oh, this has a position component and a movement component, and the movement is giving value. It has a value like 2 or something. I am a system that's going to look at that position value of the entity and change it automatically to adjust to your speed. Does that make sense? if you have a system called, you know, movement, then you can grab the position value, grab the movement value, subtract and add accordingly, and you're done. It just does it for you, and it'll do that every frame. Are you behind on updates? I see you have a Windows update on the taskbar. Yeah, there was an update last night, but I already had to restart my computer because we debugged and we crashed because we literally divided by 0. Okay, anyway, let's make this entity factory. So, what goes into an entity factory? Well, I know classes already start out as private. Shut up. Okay, I am aware. So what are we gonna do? Well, we need an ID number, which is going to be an integer. So why do we want an ID number? Well, this is pretty important. Here's a complicated question for you guys. Why can if you shoot a bullet in a video game, or here's a better one, if you throw a fireball in Path of Exile, why does the fireball not collide with itself? That is a complicated question because technically speaking, the way programs are designed, it should hit itself. It is a something in the realm of another something, which is itself. That's why we have IDs. Every entity in the entire game is going to have a unique ID associated with itself, right? It doesn't matter if it's the same note that's getting spammed 100 times in one place in a rhythm game. All of those notes are going to have different ID numbers because, well, you don't want them to collide with each other. Or, well, if they do collide with each other, then it's at least comparing different ID numbers. You don't want them to collide with themselves. That's ultimately the point. It's good to have separate identifications for every thing. Do we make this static though? We are going to make it const. God, do I go over what static, inline, and all that shit is today? Oh God, that's no. We have a const int mid. We are also going to have a Boolean value. To kill or is alive. Is alive means it always has to be true. Do I want it to be true by default? I kind of just want to call it to kill and just set it to false. It's already, wait, Booleans are already set to false by default, right? So I'm a dumbass. We'll just keep it like that. Is an entity factory an entity? If not, why does it not, or why does it have an ID? Oh, I should be clear here. Listen, Code Toil, you sarcastic asshole. I know you know why you said that. Because you know I'm wrong. Using standard map, not binary semaphore. What the fuck, Visual Studio? Okay, sorry, ignore what I just said. I was describing entities, not the entity factory. Sorry. Using standard map, hold on, I'm gonna do a macro here. Standard, do we do shared pointers or unique pointers? I should do a unique pointer. Unique pointer, which will contain, fuck, I'm sorry, wait, hold on, let me think. Hold on, I gotta look at my college 4300 shit. Hold on. Fuck, I forgot what he used for his entity thing. 4300 C++. Lecture 3. It was lecture 5 or something, right? 2024. We'll get the newest one.
Welcome to Computer.
Welcome.
Okay, so we're going to be talking about
Components, entities, game engine architecture, tuple. Oh, he's using tuples now. Oh, that's cute. I haven't seen this one. Entity function, components, entity manager. Okay, this is an entity manager.
just a quick reminder of where we are. It's Tuesday.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so what do you do? Yeah, group entities. I know all this. I just need the implementation. So what does he do here? He has a tuple for M components, which is interesting. Why would you put that in a tuple and not a bit set? Wait, now I'm confused. Why would you not use a bit set to identify what entities what components an entity has. Why would you have it as a tuple? Wait, hold on. What's his? This is a macro. What is he using for his macro? Oh, it's just there. Oh, we went over it yesterday, apparently. Okay. So this is his entity. So this is what I was talking about. It's an ID. He puts it as size T. So, okay, whatever. M tag default. So that's your tag. That's like bullet, hero, tree, whatever. Boolean is alive, true. Oh, he does set it to false. Okay. So that's his entity. Entity storage options. Don't care. I know what vectors are. He's going to do shared pointers. I just want to see what his actual entity factory looks like. Okay, there it is. Okay, type def. Oh my God. Wait, we're doing type def and not usings? Okay, vector, shared pointer, entity, map, string, entity, vec. Okay, that's what I couldn't remember. Okay. Standard vector, which is standard unique pointer in our case. I don't want to use share pointers. And it will contain a entity, which we haven't made yet, but deal with it. Boom, boom. And then this will be... Honestly, I was thinking you were doing it, everything as the entity system, including the factory. Well, anything the player will ever interact with is going to be an entity, I should say. So like the UI and stuff, not the factory. The factory is going to take care of that for us. This is going to be called, what does he call it? Entity vector? Okay, that's fine. And then type def, standard map, not binary semaphore. Oh, Visual Studio. This is going to contain, what would our key be? Our key would be our entity's tag, which would be entity vec. And then the result would be, what does he put? Fuck, it is a string first. God damn it. Because this is how you identify what it's going to go under. Okay, that's fine. And then this is entity vec. And then we end it with entity map. Okay. Jesus, that is complicated. All right. So now we need to define the entity before we do the entity factory, which is fine. Hold on. Let me relabel things here. Components. This is going to be entities. All right. So what was the struggle there? The struggle is I forgot that entity factories can't do anything without an entity definition. And we didn't make the entity definition because I got lazy. All right. Class entity. What are we going to do with our entity? Well, now we're going to go over what I just said. So I just was dumb and I just forgot where I was with my logic here. He does a size T. I really don't like size T. Size T, do I need to explain the difference between signed and unsigned integers? Do I need to do that? When you normally type integer, this can go negative. It uses a bit at the very beginning to flip 0 or 1 to say if it's negative or positive, right? Now, what if you did not intend to use a negative number at all, but you can go very, very high? Well, then you would use a size T, which is an unsigned. I think it's unsigned means you don't have a negative, because signed means it can be negative or positive because it's at the beginning. You basically get rid of that bit and you can use it to hold a bigger number because that one extra bit is very exponential. It actually doubles. No? I mean, am I wrong? It goes from like 4 billion to like 8 billion or something. That's not what size T means. Size T means it can't go negative, which means you're near the under buffer or whatever, the buffer underflow, which kind of worries me. But in any case, this is going to be an MID. This is also going to be const. Can I just call this an integer? I'm just going to call this an integer. No, you are completely wrong. Oh, well, my bad. Now we're also going to set up a Boolean value, which is not const because we want it to change. We're going to call it M alive. No, we'll call it M dead. I like that more. We'll call it M dead, and we're going to make it false, which I think is always how Booleans are initiated. I think that they're always false. Type name not allowed. Oh. I think it's always false, which I'm assuming is the case. And then we're going to set it to true when we want it to kill, which is good. What else are we going to need? We're going to need a string. So this string, I actually want it to be second because we're going to initiate this. This string is literally just tag. So what do I mean by tag? I mean, a tag is like, if we have an entity for UI, I want to call it a UI tag. That's the tag I'm going to give it. It doesn't need to be a string, but the game is a 2D game. It's not exactly supposed to be the most efficient thing in the world. If you want an unsigned integer, you use the weird unsigned followed by the type. Well, then what is size t? Is that not explicitly just a glorified unsigned integer? So if we ever want the tag UI, that's important because we're gonna have a Andrew. Oh my goodness. Wow, that long time no see, my dude. Holy shit. Are you okay? I know where you are in the world. I hope you're okay. So it's nice to see you, by the way. So if we ever want to access all of our UI elements, like if we ever want a hide UI function, well, what we can do is we can iterate through all of the tags that have this tag of UI and just make them invisible. Super easy. So every entity is gonna have an ID, a tag number, a Boolean value. Is there anything else we're gonna want it to have? Yes. Oh God. Oh, this is gonna be complicated. Standard bit set of size. Wait, shit, do I just go 100 and just call it a day? That's a big bit set though. Chat, can I just complain for a second? Why doesn't C++ give me a way to make a bit set at compile time that I can just use a variable here? Because this isn't allowed. Component flag. I can just call it flags. This isn't allowed. So if I go like int x equals 5, this is still breaks because it's, yeah, I must have a constant value. But here's the thing, look at this. Const int x equals 5. Oh, wait, it is known. Interesting. Oh, I thought const didn't work and const expression did. Oh, I guess if they're both known at compile time, huh? Okay. Well, in any case, we're not gonna do it right now, but this is gonna be number of components. And we'll just have that number be updated whenever we add a component, we can just add that number increased. Hopefully automatically. Size t is the type of integers that are used for indexing arrays. Oh! Okay. Okay. We'll still keep it as an int then. Okay, for now, I think I just call it 100. Who gives a shit? It's a 2D game. Anyway, these bit sets, they all get established as 0. The idea is that whenever we have a component, the entity manager, I should call it entity manager, not entity factory. Entity manager will set the flag based on the component. That's the idea. So we're gonna have, we'll explain it when we get to the factory. It's basically, the point is we want to be able to at a glance know what flags, what entities, well, fuck, what components an entity has, and we can just look at a bit set to figure out what flags are raised. Nice thing is you won't have more than 2 to the power 32 entity anyway, so size t is not needed. Save some memory. We'll see. All right, public. What we're gonna do is we need to make all of this. So we're gonna make entity. Wait, fuck. Oh my god, I'm already forgetting my syntax. We need a const int ID and a standard string tag, which is then instantiated as m ID is equal to ID. I'm doing this wrong. Why don't I have access to this? Huh? Wait. Wait, I could just make the fucking... Hold on. What does he do for his entities? Oh, he just doesn't even instantiate anything. He just lets it go? Oh, God. I think if I'm going to add an entity, I want like a name and an ID with it. Oh, no, I'm sorry. We don't need an ID. I'm an idiot. Jesus. We don't give it the ID. We give it the fucking... Yeah, we don't give it an ID at all. What am I talking about? Okay, we just give it a tag. M tag is equal to tag. And this needs a semicolon. Oh, did I do this right? Probably not. No initializer for const member and an identity. What? I don't need this though. Wait, what's the syntax for this? Oh God. Hold on. C++ syntax class constructor. I know the old way of doing it. I want to know the new way. Okay, this is not what I'm thinking of. There's a better, oh, the colon, right. Okay, that's what I wanted. Var num, okay, that's what we wanted. So colon, and then it's what you want to change, parentheses, what you're changing it by. So m tag, parentheses, tag, semicolon. Okay, that's the syntax I wanted. Beautiful. Okay, so what's wrong here? Entity string tag provides no initializer for const member MID. Well, I don't need that though, right? So now it works. So I'm gonna have to do this. Oh, does const means it has to be known at construction? Wait, really? If I have a const value, it has to be known at construction. So I can say m ID is equal to 0. But I can't do that because it needs to be a modifiable value. Or an unmodifiable value. Hold on. Okay, so he doesn't even use const. Okay, that's fine. I'd rather be an integer. Okay, that's fine. So now it works. Interesting. I'm sorry. I was an idiot. Okay, we went on a huge tangent there. I just wanted to verify that we didn't actually need constness in the constructor. Okay, Jesus. All right, sorry. Okay, back on track. So now we can have a way to construct our entity. So what's the problem here? Expecting a semicolon. Where? Does that work? Man, Visual Studio. Okay. All right. You could also use unsigned int. That is exactly what we're going to do. Okay. So what are we going to do now? Well, we need a way when we create the entity, or at least maybe to set the Boolean value. No. Wait, hold on. If I want to set the Boolean value of the entity to dead, and it's a private value, I can't do that in the entity manager. It must be done. It's encapsulated in the class entity. So I do need to set that, right? It's nice to have this guy just like in the background giving me answers. Set, destroy. Okay, so you do need an add t, get t, ID const, size t, ID const. Okay, cool. All right, so now we have member functions to do. So we are going to set ID, auto set ID, and it's going to take in a const unsigned int ID, and it's going to return a void, and it's going to set MID is equal to ID. What the fuck? No, go here. Ah, C++. Okay. God damn it. Dude, I need to change Visual Studio's like default settings. This is driving me up the wall. Okay. Boom. Beautiful, right? So now we set the ID. Excellent. It's that fucking easy. We set the is alive. We set the we have to create a destroy. And then we tag a const string tag. But he doesn't do that as a constructor. I'm going to do that. That's already done. Get t, add t, where t is undefined. Size t, destroy. Add template t, get template t. So it's like an add and get of all of these values, where template t is the value. So at any point, he can pull up, he can get whatever he wants. We do need to do the bit set logic here too, don't we? Okay, that's fine. So we set ID. Do I ever need to get the ID? Yes, right? Because I won't have access to it otherwise. So auto get ID, not gonna have anything. And then we return an unsigned int. Return MID. Oh my God, I'm gonna blow a gasket on Visual Studio. Thank you, Jesus. What else are we doing here? Auto, set get ID. I already have the tag. I guess I need access to the tag. Get tag. Standard string. Return M tag. Don't fucking space it out. Oh. Okay, I think before we leave, I'm gonna change this because I'm gonna die. Could also use unsigned int. Yeah. All right, so we have the way to get the tag. We set the tag. Am I ever gonna want to change the tag? I guess it depends on what we're going to do with the game. Am I ever going to want to change a UI element to be like a note? All this means, not in terms of mechanics, but in terms of like where to classify it. I don't think I am. I think once we set the tag, like that's it. It's going to stay there. I have no desire to ever change it. Auto get check dead, check alive. I should set this to false just for my own sanity. Am I ever gonna, I don't think I'm ever need to check that. I do need to change it. So we just call it kill, or destroy might be a better word. So we're gonna destroy the entity, which will return nothing. And we're gonna set M dead equals true. Okay, is there anything else I'm gonna want to do with an entity besides the flag thing, but that's coming up. So we set the tag at construction. We set the ID number in the entity manager. We can get the ID number in the entity manager. We can get the tag in the entity manager. We can destroy with the entity manager. Is there ever... So now I guess we just have to read the flag. So auto get components. So now all this is... Ooh, hold on. That's not a good one. I should do one for just add component, which would flip the appropriate bit. So it needs a Boolean flag. The flag would be, it would just flip the bit I need. Wait, I need more than that. I don't just need a Boolean value. I need a location. Do I just have like a component? Do I just have an array of components? And depending on the element that the component is on the array is the flag I set? In which case I need a size t integer. No, sorry, size t component. And then we set that to true. Always set it to true. Okay, I think that's what we do. So then we have an array of components, in which case this will change to whatever that size of the array is. Probably just 100. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna iterate for m flags. Oh no, wait. Fuck, how do I do a ranged for loop? God damn it. Dude, the syntax, I'm dying. I'm actually dying. Syntax ranged for loop. Ranged base for loop looks like auto E flag one. Okay, that's fine. I always forget the auto part. So auto blank go the whole distance. Okay, that's fine. We can do that. So auto C++ is hard. It is hard, but we learn a lot. We learn a lot. So auto I. What's the default here? I think it's always I, right? Auto I, and we're gonna go through, iterate through the M flags thing. What's wrong here? Oh, dot begin. Is that what's going on? Has no member begin. Wait, what do you want? Okay, there's the bit. This range space for statement requires a suitable begin function and none was found. Wait, how do I iterate through a fucking bit set? Am I missing something? For int I. Oh, I do need to use the old one because I need to iterate. I can't use a range space for loop, can I? Okay, that's fine. We'll do an old school. We'll do an old school for loop. Int I equals 0. Plus plus. Oh no, not plus plus I. We go until m flags dot component. Why am I iterating? I know the number of the array. I'm such a fucking idiot. Wait, I know what spot in the array we're gonna have. So this is going to return void. And what it's gonna do is we're gonna set m flags component equals or dot Ooh. Don't flip. That's gotta be careful. If you add a component twice, you don't want to flip it back to negative. Set. Fuck, I forgot the bit set. Hold on. CPP reference. Come to my rescue, please. Okay, bit set is tuple bit set. Okay. Size set. Sets bits to true or given value. Reset is set it to false. Flips toggles the value. So we want to dot set. Why doesn't this work? What is this? Size T. Size T. Size T. Doesn't work. Does this have to be an int? It does have to be a const. But I can flip it. A pointer to a bound function may be only used to call the function. What? What does this look like? Am I an idiot? Okay, for the I equals 1, size plus equals 2, dot set I. What? Okay, hold on. B dot set. Do I have to iterate? Why do I have to? Hold on. Bit set 8B. Okay, so M flags dot set works. What? I'm not setting the entire thing. Oh, I am setting the entire thing. So I want to set component. Oh! I get it. I get it. I was treating it like an array, and a bit set is not kind of an array. It's not really, but kind of. I need to set with the component value. Okay, it's that easy. That's it. That's the entire thing to add a component. You guys tried to make that so complicated. And then we got to auto remove component, and it's literally almost the exact thing. I'm just going to copy paste. Oops. Except we are going to not flip, we're going to reset. Reset meaning set to 0. And that's going to just set this to 0. So I could remove a component on an entity that already doesn't have it. It's going to be fine. We just still set it to 0. Which is just beautiful. Oops, I have insert on. Space. Okay. So we add component, remove component. I do need to iterate though. That's a tough one. If I want to check has component, I would still need only one component to check, right? It would still almost be the exact same thing, except what's different is instead of reset, we're just going to see, there must be a simple thing here to add, right? Checks if all, any, or none of the bits are set to true. That's not what I want. If that is equal to true. So if M flags dot test? No. Not operator. If M flags is equal, no. Component? That's not what I want. I don't need the total number of bits. String. There we go. Oh, it's in brackets. Oh, not parentheses. Sorry. Okay, so that's how you do it. Okay. Woo, we're learning a lot about bit sets today, let me tell you. All right. So all this does is we check the bit set if it's true. And that's it. That's all we do. Is it that easy? Did I just set up the whole bit set that easily? The only downside is I hard coded in 100 and I really don't want that. I also need to set up an array that contains an integer value of I need an array of all the components. Or I need some sort of integer identification of what that is. And all the so if it's like, if we have an array of components and the component is the 13th element, I want to be able to set that flag on every entity that has it. So what did you want to do with 100 bits? ECS? Yeah, basically these are just flags. These are like, so when our systems go through and basically if our system is like, we're not going to do this here, it's a rhythm game, but if it's like apply gravity, well, it needs to have a point component. It needs to have a is affected or has a movement component and is affected by gravity component. Basically all of these components are going to be on this bit set. So a system would be like, okay, is this entity have this component? If yes, then test for another component. If yes, test for another component. Boom, do the system on it, right? That's kind of what we're checking here. So all this is doing is just checking one element of this bit set to see if this is true. That's it. That's the purpose of it. So that is our entity, right? Super simple, super easy. I think we have everything. I'm still undecided if I want to only ever initiate entities with a tag as like a string. I don't think we need this. And you know why? Because our entity manager will handle all entity creations for us. We don't actually need to instantiate with it because we're going to do it anyway. So set tag standard string tag return void m tag equals tag. Boom, that easy. Oh my goodness, look at our beautiful simple entity class. Oh my goodness. You can probably check in just one CPU instruction. Like CPUs can compare 100 at a time, no problem. Yep, that easy. I agree completely. So there you go. There's our entity class. Every entity in the entire game. This is, by the way, every UI element, every the scoreboard, every piece of text, every unlock, every menu option, every click, every audio file, or whatever, the video background. It's all going to end up being an entity. So beautiful. Now we have to manage our entity manager. Fuck me. Okay. So first of all, we're type defing a standard vector. This vector will contain a unique pointer for an entity, which is to say what we're going to do is when we want to add an entity to the game, we're going to use the entity manager to add an entity to the game. This entity manager will, through that, we'll give it a string, we'll give it an ID, all that good stuff, right? Oh no, I'm sorry. We won't give it an ID, the entity manager will. The goal is we as a programmer are never going to create an entity class object. We are going to use the entity manager to create entities for us and manage all that stuff. So we're going to make a vector of every entity in the game. Every single entity in the entire game is going to have a pointer on the vector, and that's what we're going to do. There's going to be more vectors we put it in. Yes, it will cost the tiny bit of memory, but it makes systems trivial and concurrency trivial. All right, and then once we do that, calling it entity vector, we're going to have a map where we're going to address the key being a string, which is the tags for the entities. So like UI, if I want all of the UI vectors, well, here you go. This is a vector of all entities in the game, and this is a string that gets you to it. So like UI elements, bullets, or whatever, and we're gonna call this the entity map. It's beautiful. It's so simple. Now, oh, it's getting late, chat. Do we call it a day here and we work on the entity manager tomorrow? The thing is that with me working 4 days a week now, I work really late. Like, I come home an hour and a half later than I usually would. Plus, I live further away from work, so it's an hour and a half. So yeah, streams, running late. Good news, I now can stream more without too much guilt with this. So tomorrow we're gonna work on our entity manager now that we have our beautiful bright purple pink background and everything's good and the FPS is clean and easy. Yeah, we're gonna work on the actual manager tomorrow for our entity class that we just made. So there you go. That'll be our little project. Oh my goodness, bro. Oh, switch 2's out. All right, everyone, have a good night. Have a good evening. I'll see you later. Hopefully with Gary tomorrow. We'll see. Have a good night.